Welcome, Crispy. My name's Chris Wagner, and today we're going to be getting into workspace roles and governance as your first step in the journey to a good governance program. All right, so if you do the job, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, leave us a comment down below if you have any questions. This is a favorite topic of mine. If you want early access to this stuff for as little as $5, you can become a member and get access to all of our content as soon as it goes live. Let's get into it. Okay, I don't like that one. Let's go big. There we go. Workspace roles. All right, we're talking about when we start setting up in Fabric or working in Power BI, one of the first things we need to do is we need to make sure we get our workspace roles set up and we've got a good strategy for it. There's going to be two things that we're going to be thinking about here. One, it's going to be like how we're creating our workspaces because these are going to be the boundaries for our governance. Two, we're going to want to have a workspace capacity or strategy because it is going to help us when it comes to capacity management. And three, we're going to want to have a good understanding of the different roles that we have inside of our organization. Let's talk more about this, okay? So in our second video that's going to be coming out very shortly, we're going to be talking about domains and work and how we organize our content. One of the basic foundations that you're going to need in your domain strategy is going to be having a good workspace strategy. So let's talk about it, okay? You're going to want to be out there separating out your workspaces by the different domain units that exist or different organizations inside your company, like HR, IT, that type of thing is going to be your first thing that we're going to be breaking things out in your workspaces. Second, you're going to want to be thinking about the different environments that you have when it comes to building and managing in Fabric. So if you're going to have a production, or I'm sorry, if you're going to have a dev, a test, and a prod, you're going to want to have a workspace for dev, test, and prod. And then second thing you're going to want to think about along those lines is you're going to want to think about how you're going to manage your capacities, i.e., how much you're going to spend at the different layers or different solutions. So, for example, you may want to create some isolation around your data engineering work so that nobody can mess with that, right? Nobody likes it when a data engineer is working and building and he's got some stuff that has to be out there, and then some random analyst or data scientist comes in and just starts dropping workloads on top of you, crashing things down. That can cause all sorts of problems. Your workspaces are your first boundaries that are going to protect you from that. And then the third thing, the big key that we're going to be talking here is we're going to want to make sure that we have good admins, members, contributors, and viewers. I'm going to go over that in a second, okay? And the big thing that we're going to be looking as part of that strategy is that separation from a creator and from a consumer. Okay, there's going to be a lot of people that consume information inside these Fabric workspaces. You want to make sure they're isolated away from the people who are building inside the Fabric environment. Okay, you don't want those crossovers to occur because that can cause you some problems. Let's talk about the different levels that you're going to have inside your organization. And I'm going to go little here. Okay, so in your workspaces, you've got admins, you've got members, you've got contributors, and you've got viewers. Okay, admins have all of those capabilities that you can see on the side over here. Every one of those, an admin can do everything. Okay, a member is pretty close to it, but they can't they can't delete the workspaces. So you don't have to worry about them blowing that away. Contributors can start building and putting content inside of your workspace. And then viewers just get the view role access to be able to see items that are inside your workspace. Now, I'm going to recommend that you create a very simplistic strategy that separates out a builder from a consumer. Okay. So in that case, I'm highly recommending that you create your admin group and a viewer group, and we'll talk more about that. I think it's in video 4, where you have admins on workspaces and viewers on workspaces. Don't overcomplicate this. This stuff shouldn't be more complicated than it needs to be. If you're in a situation where you have some governance concerns, where you want to make sure that You have people who have admin capabilities, but they can't do things like delete or other activities. They can't actually blow something away. Then you might want to go in and create a member role. Or same thing with the contributor, right? Like you don't want them to be able to like add people into the workspace. You want them to be, but you want them to be able to create and build stuff. That's where the contributor comes into place. Only use this if this is something that your company needs, right? If you don't need to have all this stuff, don't do all this stuff. All right. Enough of this though. Let's head over to Fabric and let's show you how to get this done. Okay. So we're in Fabric right now. I've got my content here. I'm going to hop over to my workspaces and we're going to actually see I've got some workspaces in place right here already. I've got a workspace definition in place that has I organize my content by the area that's going to be in, which is the AdventureWorks data. It's data analytics. And then I've got production here. I also have the AdventureWorks data engineering and production, and then dev. Now, those are the items that are pinned because I'm in those and I'm working with them all of the time. So I've pinned them to the top of my workspaces. I can have more and more stuff. But whatever your boundaries are, you're going to create them. I before we create one, I want to show you something though. I want to go back and just show you the workspaces. One of the things you do have to be very mindful of is whatever naming strategy you use, you need to develop one that allows you to see it in just a handful of characters, right? Like you don't have a great visibility to these things. That is a challenge. Hopefully we can get this can expand. Oh, look at that. We expand it out. We can see the different layers there. So, okay. Well, fair enough. Now we can do this. Not bad. New functionality. What an amazing thing. Okay. So you want to make sure you've got good naming conventions so that people can easily find their stuff. They can easily differentiate between what it is you're looking at, be it data engineering or data analytics. I separate those out because I might want my workloads to be different. So for example, I might want capacities for data engineers to be separated from my analysts and separated from my data scientists. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create some new workspaces for my sales domain. So I'm going to have sales. It's for the sales team. It's going to be data engineering, and this is going to be their production workspace. All right. I'm going to give it a name. Sales data engineering. Production. If I had a domain already, I would go in and assign it to domains. Check out the next video for more details on this. I'm going to define a contact list of people who get contacted when people ask questions, issues, all that good stuff. I'm gonna define it as a Fabric capacity, and I'm gonna assign it to one of my capacities that are out there. I'm gonna go ahead and click on apply. This is gonna create my workspace. Look at that, it's already done. I've got my workspace here. Now the big thing I always go in and do is I go to my access right here, and I always make sure I've got another admin added. In this case, I'm gonna add in Jared. Oh, I'm sorry, it's probably DataBard. DataBard, I'm going to add him in, and I'm going to add him in as an admin. And I'm going to say, okay, I've got that in place because at a minimum, I want to make sure especially when I create a new workspace, I've got one other admin in place so that if I get hit by the lottery bus, this project, this workspace can continue on. Okay. Then as I work and as I add content in here, I'm going to add in viewers or other contributors to this workspace. Now, I'll give you to you. There's a lot of times where we might not even have viewers on a workspace. You might just have builders or admins that are working inside a workspace. That's totally fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. All right. So those are the tips that we've got for working in a workspace. Number one, come up with your workspace strategy and make sure that you're going to be enabling what your domains are. So make sure you're aligned to your domains. Number two, you're going to want to think about what your strategy is for your capacities. This is going to play into how you break out your content. Because while I said, we'd want to separate out our data engineering, our data analysts, and our data scientists. You're probably also going to want to separate out your dev test prod and some scale groups. There's a whole bunch of ways you can go into that. You know what you need to do in this stuff, and then understand the roles, break that stuff out. Those are the tips that we got for you. If you like this content, smash that like button. Leave a comment down below if you've got any questions. And if you think this stuff is too challenging or too difficult, you know what I do for a living? I do consulting. So reach out. Let me know. Happy to go in, help drive this home in your organization, help you out with things. You have the best day ever. Peace.
Baker
All
Tilly
right.
Digital
I said I was a
industry
consultant. I'm a
insight
consultant at
and
Baker Tilly.
advanced
Yeah.
technical
We help people
expertise
out.
to
Head over to
uncover and solve your
bakertilly.com/digital.
transformation
There's a little like,
challenges.
I
If you're
need some help
interested in
form.
learning more,
Drop my
check out our
name in
website
there.
at
Let me know if you need
bakertilly.com/digital.
what it is you need assistance with. Myself, maybe one of my colleagues, one of us will reach out. But if you